Ghanaian Times starts this morning and says, we worry of extremists. President advises Muslims the fallout from yesterday's Eid celebrations. And security agencies must stop lawlessness. That's from the Amir in charge of the Ahmadiyya Muslim mission, Alhaji Morvi Mohammed bin Salih, there talking. A lot of news from the Eid celebrations. And the Daily Graphic, don't allow ideologies to pervert Islam. President tells Muslims. That's the story on the Daily Graphic. And the default crowned ultimate man of the year, Ghana's oil and gas infrastructure attract Chinese multinational. Wager dam spillage floods communities. Daily Guide says, pray for me, Nana tells Muslims. And China's Yantai Jere host government delegation, 19 billion Chinese cash coming. Dr. Bamia reveals the finder says China to pump $21 billion into Ghana. Those are some of the papers I have with me. To do the talking this morning, to my extreme left is the NPP's National Nasra Coordinator, also seriously eyeing the youth organizer position of the NPP. Kamadin, good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
I hope you are doing great.
I'm terrific.
And how was the Eid yesterday?
Thanks for the wish, for your Eid Mubarak wish you gave me yesterday. I think it was awesome. Very excellent celebration that we had, coming from 30 days of fasting and also sober reflection and doing self-introspection strongly about the forward march as a person or as a human being, I should say. One should say that we are grateful to the Almighty Allah for such favors.
All right.
Of course, it was also a time for us to use to seek for forgiveness from people we might have in one way or the other wronged, and also those who have also wronged us to also mete out forgiveness to them. Ultimately, we all had the opportunity of seeking for forgiveness from our Maker or the Almighty Allah. I want to wish every Muslim this morning watching us a very happy Eid once again. And I want to say that whatever lessons that we learned throughout the fasting, let us not throw that to the dogs.
All right.
Let us try to commit ourselves to it. And of course, continue to appear morally upright as we have.
I'm grateful. He's also a member of the NPP, Kamadin Abdullah. And then to my left is a former member of parliament for the Ablikuma Central Constituency, a member of the NDC, Honorable Theophilus Tete Chai. Good morning, too. And I guess yesterday you joined Muslims in Ghana to mark the Eid.
First of all, let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. And also to say back at the sunlight to the National Chief Imam, Dr. Nuhu Shaributu, for his exemplary leadership within the Muslim fraternity. And also to the Vice President, who is also a Muslim, and to all our Muslim faithfuls within the country. Once again, Batka Disana.
I'm grateful there. Now let's begin with the Ghanaian Times this morning. That story is also captured on the page, the front page of the Daily Graphic. The worry of a religious extremist. President advises Muslims. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo yesterday joined Muslims at the Independence Square in Accra to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr festival with a call on Muslims not to allow themselves to be used by extremists for destructive purposes. He advised Muslims to be wary of religious ideologies who might portray the beautiful Islam religion for their selfish and destructive gains. And he touched on several other issues. So the Zongo Development Fund, particularly, the president said that plans were underway for the Zongo Development Fund law, which would, among other things, give legal backing to the fund. He said a nationwide consultation was ongoing to collect ideas for the establishment of the law, which, when enacted by Parliament, would trigger the use of the fund. He said his administration is committed. So 219 million cedis are seed money for the fund. And he's asking Muslims to contribute, take part in the consultation process. Come on, let me start with you. The president called first not to allow extremists to take over the beautiful Islam religion. This is indeed a call in the right order.
Absolutely. Once again, a very good morning to our cherished viewers out there. And also a very good morning to His Eminence, the Chief Imam of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Alhaj Nuhu Shaributu. And to all Muslim clerics, I say once again, Eid al-Mubarak to you. Indeed, extremism and fundamentalism is what actually is putting Islam in bad light. That's a fact. Otherwise, when you look at this definition of Islam in itself, which means peace, submission to Allah, clearly, one would not say that this is a religion that espouses violence, not at all. Or this is a religion that teaches violence, not at all. However, we have some elements within who, for the sake of whatever, resort to extremism. And by so doing, others who, of course, would not be even Muslims, non-Muslims, and may not also be Christians, but because of their own parochial interests, will feed into this extremism, and if you are not careful, then they tag them as Muslims, and to a large extent, say Islam is embarking on XYZ, which is not so. So the president's call on the fact that we should not allow extremism to take away the good name of Islam, could not have been apt. It was an excellent call, and if you listen to the president clearly, he alluded to the fact that Islam, Christianity, as we have them, come from, Judaism, as it were, comes from the Abrahamic faith. We just but one people. It's like a tree with some different branches. We all believe in the monotheism that we all seek to, monotheism that we all seek to push, that indeed God is one and God is the one who loves all of us, or Allah is one and Allah is the one who loves all of us. If the president posited this, it then goes to mean that he is seeking to unite all of us as a country. You may be a Christian, I may be a Muslim, but nonetheless, nothing stops me from being your friend. Nothing stops you from being my friend. In fact, many don't even know this. Our holy book, the Quran, does not abhor a Muslim from marrying a Christian at all. And she remain a Christian, and you be a Muslim. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his wisdom says that yes, you can actually go in for the women of the book, as he describes them in the Quran, who of course belongs to the Injil. And when we say the book, Injil is the gospel. Okay, and when you look at Surah Al-Maryam, for instance, where Jesus is spoken about a lot in the Quran, one, of course, would believe that indeed we have brothers who are Christians. And you see, history even has it that the migration that the Prophet Muhammad started from Mecca, heading towards Abyssinia, now Ethiopia. Abyssinia was headed by a Christian cleric. And Allah told him, look, travel to Abyssinia, for your brothers are in Abyssinia, and then you can stay with them. It tells you that there's no enmity between Christians and Muslims. It's just because we do not, with all respect to other people, read widely to understand some of these things. Then we resort to sometimes, fighting each other when it's needless. So for me, I support the call of the president, and I will appeal to every Muslim brother who is listening to me this morning to eschew what we call extremism. Not to listen or buy into, let me go fight this person because he's not a Muslim. Let me go fight that person because he's not a Christian. Let us not do this. Unity is one. In any case,
wrap up for me.
I'm wrapping up. The uncle of the Prophet, Abu Talib, was never a Muslim. But he protected the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ such a way that, to a large extent, people have said that anyone who allows a Muslim to worship in harmony and worship in peace, that person is more or less aiding Islam. And in aiding Islam, Allah will have mercies on you. That we should also have as well. So I think clearly the president's call was excellent and very good. And he touched on policies also
we'll come to talk
that will
about
be moving towards the Zongos. I think this is where we are. Extremism should be nipped in the bud. Extremism must not be part of it.
I'll come back to you to talk about how adulteration perhaps might have affected this beautiful picture you've painted. But let me go to Honorable Tetetai. Have you seen leaders of Islam work hard at trying to allay the fears of many that extremism isn't part of the faith?
Yeah, thank you very much. This morning I have Muslim cleric by my side. Whom am I?
He said he's not trying to be. I'm not
no, in fact, you are excellent. You are excellent. But first of all, let me commend His Excellency the President for being with our Muslim brothers yesterday, despite the heavy schedule that he has. And I think that is commendable. And then the issues that he raised yesterday was very fundamental. All over the world, extremism has become a major topic. And if you look at some of the atrocities that are being committed all over the world, it's as a result of the way people miscommunicate or understand the Quran, the way they interpret the Quran. That has led to some of these things that we see all over the world. And I believe that for the president to re-echo those sentiments, I think it is in the right direction, and we need to commend him for that. Now to your question. For me, we need to commend the National Chief Imam. I have lived in a Muslim, a community that has a sizable proportion of Muslims. If you look at the area of Ablikma Central, if you look at Shukura, Zamalang, the Zongos, parts of Abosokan, you have a lot of Muslim community within all the areas that I have mentioned. And so therefore, what I would like to say is that we've had very good relationship in terms of religious interactions. Although you have Christians, you have Muslims, we've related very, very well. And I think that is the way forward. But what has even made it even good for the entire country is the fact that you have a chief imam that has really helped the Muslim communities to develop education-wise in terms of the teachings of the Quran. As old as he is, sometimes I wonder where he gets his strength. Because look, when it gets to this fasting period, or what do you call it?
Ramadan.
Yes, where he visits the communities morning, afternoon, evening, midnight.
Yeah.
Look, it is not an easy thing. And sometimes those of us who are in those communities, we ask ourselves where this man gets his strength. But to be honest with you, he has been a pillar within the Muslim setup in this country.
And has that translated into making the faith that attractive to wipe away this thinking that some people, extremists, are taking over the faith and misusing it?
Yeah.
Has that translated into...
To be honest with you, if you compare the Muslims of today and then that of the past, there has been a remarkable improvement.
Yes,
and what has led to that? Education is key.
I agree.
And it is the chief imam who has championed this agenda.
I agree.
Wherever he finds himself, he always urged the people within the community to educate their children. And I think the free compulsory universal basic education and then allowing the Muslim, that is your, how do you call it? Your teaching
and
to be fused into
the Arabic
exactly, has also helped greatly. And for me, constantly, he has been echoing this togetherness in terms of helping the community to develop, ensuring that Muslim communities educate themselves, take themselves out of poverty. These are things that he always do when he comes around the communities. And it has really helped. And for me, I believe that we need to emulate his shining example. He's one person who has really, 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 really helped the Muslim community to advance.
All right. I'll come back to you. But a quick one on the adulteration before we talk about the Zongo development. You painted a beautiful picture of that unity, but you don't think that adulteration of the faith has resulted in this way of people trying to hijack Islam?
There is, of course, a hadith that spoke about the fact that at a point you're going to have lots of branches on one tree called Islam. Now, even within Islam, we have we have the section we call, or the sect we call the Shiite. We have the sect we call the Sunni, or the Wahhabiyas. We have also the sect we call the Tijanis. And we have also, you know, if you like, the Salawatiyas and a whole lot. Now, these are all, even within Islam, we have the Ahmadis as well, and all that. These are all school of thoughts, which believe in certain doctrines and all that. Nonetheless, there is one thing that binds us. None of us there can say that God is two. We all keep on saying, La ilaha illallah, God is one. Now, you talk about adulteration. It is where I sit and what I believe in that I deem as adulteration, or someone may deem as adulteration. But what is important is that, do we all belong to that religion? Yes. You see, I have always said that when you write in the number 11, 1, 1, turn it anyhow, it will still be 11. Is that not right? Turn this one here, bring the other one there, it's still 11. Change it anyhow, it is going to be 11. That is the way Islam appears. For me, I have said that, yes, believe in yourself, allow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do the judgment. He has always said in the Quran that judgment belongs to him. He decides what to do at any time. He is the Ghafurur Rahim. He wants to actually, if he feels that I want to pardon everybody and put everyone, all of us in heaven, he will do it. And nobody can question him.
Are you happy that there are so many branches on the tree?
Now, you see, of course, why? I will not be happy because I may also belong to a certain branch where I feel that, look, my branch is the best. Are you getting my point? So I will not be happy to have so many branches. Okay. Just as someone to belonging to another branch also not be happy. But nonetheless, what is important that will bind us is comprehension. You see, it's also excellent communication. And the manner in which we're going to communicate to each other that will bring about peace and harmony among us. But if you say, I belong to this sect, and what you do this, it is bad, and therefore let me attack that person, allow the person, find a way of engaging the person in a very healthy debate. Say why you think your school of thought is the best. Let him say why he thinks his school of thought is the best. At a point, you are going to jaw and arrive at a particular point. This is what is lacking. And this is what the Prophet, the chief imam has done in the past. He's tried to engage everybody. And look, let's commend him. This man is a wonderful man. You know what he's done? Anytime he's given an invitation to go to a program, he will make sure he will instruct his office to invite all the sects I have mentioned. Let them all come together. Let's go. I will lead them. This is a mark of good leader. And in fact, where he is today, inshallah, I know Allah will keep him for us, and Allah will continue to give him wisdom and shower him with more basira, so he will lead the Muslim community for us to move on. I'm so happy about it. And trust me, adulteration will not get anywhere. Ghana, we are weak. Those days, he says, Chatacha made a point. He said, we've come far, and things have changed now. These are better. It's true. Not too long ago, we're having maybe Ahlul Sunnah having quarrel with the, Tijani having quarrel with it, and a whole lot of problems. You go to some places in the northern region, you hear that, oh, Ahmadis and Orthodox having problems and all that. Look, we have tried our best to keep all these things in Ghana. And I think we should be applauding for ourselves, and we should be happy that we've gone there. And we, the youth coming up, with all respect, let us emulate these examples. Let us not become extremists. Let us not say that my position is it or is nobody's position. Don't ever do that. At the end of the day, we will move in unison, and this country will benefit.
Okay.
And we will all benefit.
Let's jump into again. Stay there, because the president said that, Honorable Tetecha. So then the president says that consultations have started on the Zongo development fund, and the law will soon be ready. That law will give legal backing to the fund. We have seen in the past several funds that didn't have a law backing it, and that were either misused, misapplied, or all of that. This fund has a law to back it. So we can say that we're a step away, or one step ahead of making sure that this fund would indeed work for the Zongos.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you rightly said, we have statutory funds that by law, resources are supposed to be, as soon as revenues are gathered, resources needs to be put into those statutory funds. Unfortunately, as a country, as a result of the scarce resources, government is not able to do as required by law. So I'm a little bit skeptical that the establishment of this fund will also not suffer that same fate.
They won't get the resources needed.
But yeah, we've had so many, as I rightly said, so many funds that have been established that are not getting the resources that they are supposed to get. If you look at the common fund, we are in the second quarter.
Right.
as I talk to you now, it's only the third quarter that has been disbursed. The fourth quarter last year. So it means the first and second quarter of this year, nothing has gone to the district assemblies. And you know the implications of it. So therefore, when government decide to establish new funds, for me, I find it very problematic, because are we going to ensure that resources will be made available at the right time?
There's already 190 million seed money.
Oh, the seed, as for seed money, that one, once you are establishing...
No, allocation has been done.
That's what I'm saying, that once the thing is being started, yes, government will try as much as possible to ensure that monies will be dropped into it. But what I'm interested in is the subsequent disbursement of into the fund. Because at the end of the day, these are funds that are going to be earmarked towards development within various communities within this country, of which my constituency is also going to benefit. Because as I rightly said, I have a lot of Muslim communities within my constituency. And as a result, if government wants to dedicate some funds into those areas, it's much welcome. But the question is, are we going to have the resources at the right time when it is needed? That is my question.
That's a big question you're asking. Kamal, is this a legitimate question to ask, that we will make sure the fund has resources?
Very interesting. I think if my brother, I don't know if my brother was in the country or not, and if he's had the opportunity of reading the Asempa budget or not. If he did, he would not be making such, or making such commentary. You see, the point is that on the 2nd of March, the President of the Republic of Ghana, through his finance minister, presented before Parliament a budget or a fiscal policy of this country. Now, therein that budget contains or is found the Zongo Development Fund giving an allocation of 219 million Ghana cedis, which is so huge. Some ministries have not even gotten such allocations, such for as their budget.
As seed money.
As seed money. No, some ministries have not even gotten that. It tells you how dear the Zongos are to the President of the Republic of Ghana. And in fact, let me take him back to just recent history. On the 30th of January 2016, when we had our first ever National Nasara Conference, where the President announced, then he was a flag bearer, that in my manifesto, there is going to be what we call the Zongo Development Fund creation. And should, inshallah, you vote for me to become the President, I would make sure that is established, then the monies put in there would actually be channeled towards the development of the Zongos we have. As we said today, major Zongos in Ghana, about 365 and more. Major Zongos, I am choosing my words well. And these are areas where we are deprived. You go there and amenities are actually completely lacking or even low. The President sees this and says, look, let us make an allocation. My brother and his party then, they poo-pooed it. Once again, they had to assume the position of doubting Thomases. Can they do this? They are lying. They want to get votes. All that. Now we have done it. Is again, your allocation. Second quarter is not paid. Third quarter is not paid. You see, they will remain the doubting Thomases and will remain the.
But is it not legitimate to ask if other state funds are not getting the resources they need, and the new one is to be created? Is it not?
Which one is not getting the resources?
Well, you just
like I just said, I alluded to the fact that we came out with a budget. Our budget is there. Parliament approves it. Finance Minister is doing his best, and they are making sure that they are pushing things out.
You mentioned the
common fund. Common fund. Well, common fund has been pushed. Common fund. Last week we sat here, and then what was it? Mutala. My brother Mutala was saying that the common fund had not been paid, when in fact they had even pushed common fund payment. You see, and again, it is not even the first time that somebody is going to say that, look, there is going to be a delay, or there's a delay in the payment of some particular quarter of common fund. It has always been so because of the bureaucratic processes that we do.
Wait a minute. Can that affect the Zongo Development Fund?
So, this is an authority which we want. I mean, the President indicated in his speech that the legal framework has actually been worked on. It will be laid before Parliament. And see, there's one monumental thing even the president has done. To have a minister in charge of that. A ministry and a minister who is also a Zongo person, a proper Zongo person, like my brother Abubakar Boniface.
Does that put money in the fund?
You know what? No, I'm telling you. This man is going to lay before Parliament as a ministry for the first time in the history of this country. And I think Zongo people are so happy and we are so glad to have such a man as a president.
It's not a ministry.
Trust me, it's a ministry. And he's a minister. Is he a minister of state or not?
No, but
Minister of State. Okay, you
Why?
go.
Has he got, has he got access to Parliament to lay bills or not? Yes. I'm saying that, let me land, you have it. I'm saying that if a minister is in place to go and lay before Parliament this legal draft, for it to be passed into law, and when it passes into law, establishment of that authority will be put in place. You know what that means? It's going to be all over the country. Jobs will be created in the districts. Okay, jobs will be created in the regions. At the end of the day, the secretary is going to work just like the YEA is also there. This is a government with vision, and a government that, of course, is pushing to make sure that the Zongos are never shortchanged. And never again, and I repeat, never again will we refer to the old way of doing things when people will use us and they will not even give us anything. We have thought about them. The president has thought about them. Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia has thought about them. We have given them a policy. We are pushing to make sure that people are engaged and people indeed are going to work for themselves. Okay. And also infrastructure development will be high in its peak in these areas or these communities. So for me, I think that we should only be lauding the president. In fact, we should be commending us. Trust me, NDC should be commending the NPP government for doing this, for this initiative.
All right.
You know?
Come on, then, I'm grateful. Now, let's move on. Touch briefly on this story before we look at some other ones.
Right. You can go against it.
No, that's okay.
Interesting.
You can go against this.
Your comments
we
are
all want to develop the place.
Let's quickly look at this one.
Oh, you don't want to develop the Zongos.
The public agenda has this story. I'm looking for that paper quickly before we touch on what's happening with Ghana Cocobod. The public agenda has a story on the Right to Information Bill. It says that politicians are running away from, from anti-corruption bill. The story says that there have been efforts to pass the bill, and yet, as of now, that bill is yet to be passed. Now, Ghanaians have heard time and again from political parties that passing the Right to Information Bill was a priority when they ascended the throne of government. But unfortunately, those who have been fortunate to ascend the throne have disappointed. That bill has been in Parliament for more than 10 years. And it cites governments that have come to meet the bill and are yet to pass it. So, what is the fear in passing the bill? Is there a fear in passing that bill?
Yeah, I have had the privilege to discuss this bill on several occasions on your platform. And I've indicated that all governments, in fact, the two political parties have commitment to the passage of this bill. However, there are certain challenges that both sides feel they need to reconcile. And as such, before Parliament adjourned the last, that's expired in the last administration, there was an attempt to pass this bill. Unfortunately, the minority were not ready at that time, citing certain bottlenecks in the law. Now, government has been handed over to the MPP, and civil society, the good people of this country, the media, are all hoping that the current administration will ensure that this law is passed in earnest. I believe that we've done all the winnowing that needs to be done, and I don't see why it is still yet on board. But if I could remember, the Minister for Information, as part of the current sitting of Parliament, did indicate that this bill will be brought to the House, and he's sure that by, I think, August or so, it has been passed into law. And I sat here and indicated that the minister has no right to even determine when that bill should be passed. Because Parliament is not a rubber stamp. And once you submit bills to Parliament, the onus lies on Parliament to determine as and when that bill will go through. So government, all what government needs to do is ensure that the bill has been submitted to the House. It has been laid on the floor of the House, given to the relevant committee that needs to work on it. Then the good people of this country will know that government has done its commitment. Then whatever is left is for Parliament to go through the processes. But you cannot give deadlines
to the House on what
not
kind
at
of
all.
work it does.
Not at all.
Okay, come on. Is government really committed to the new government committed to passing the bill?
Well, I think per the story, we'll give credit to both sides. The NDC is willing for this information bill to be passed. The MPP is willing for same to be passed. You know, civil society organizations are willing for this to be passed. Essentially what it means is that almost everybody in this country wants to see this bill passed. It's been long overdue, yes, we agree. Now we are told of some fine-tuning that they needed to go through. I'm taken aback when my brother says that, look, it has not been laid before Parliament yet, and yet the minister has said that he's here to lay it before Parliament and all that. I think Parliament did some work on it.
No, you didn't get me.
I didn't get you.
I think the information minister made the comment that by August,
giving the deadline.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's suggesting that he cannot give Parliament a deadline.
Maybe I misconstrued what he said, but you see, I'm trying to misconstrue what he said. The point is that I'm aware that Parliament has actually worked on this for a very long time. And I want to give commendation to lawyer Akoto Apau. I mean, he's pushed it here and his group have pushed this for long. I also had the opportunity of reading through the draft that they sent to Parliament and all that. And I thought it was so an excellent, piece. This talk about corruption is a canker within our society. It's a huge problem. And corruption is rife when you have no information to work with. Now, if I know that this phone is supposed to be purchased for 20 Ghana cedis, and everybody knows the phone is purchased for 20 Ghana cedis, Honorable Tetechai, the fact that he is superintendent over corruption, so let me use it as an example. Honorable Tetechai, I will say why. But he's part of superintendent over corruption.
Come on, we are in salad time. You see, today I'm very quiet.
I'm making a point. The fact that the superintendent, why corruption was so rife. We campaign on corruption, and I'm saying,
but if you say
and I'm not the only one saying it.
Perceived corruption.
It's a fact, not perceived corruption. It's a fact. We are examples. Why Bas Brandon was clear.
No.
Bas Brandon was clear. So the fact that the superintendent over corruption, maybe let me not single him out. The fact that the superintendent over corruption, let me use as an example.
Let's have a very good debate.
But that's a good debate I'm having.
Because I can discern.
No, it doesn't matter. You can do same. But
Kamal, if you can,
when a statement of fact is made,
it's you can't.
Okay,
the fact that it was
issue.
Okay,
this phone cost 20 Ghana cedis.
Come on, don't veer. Don't veer.
I'm pardon him because
no, come on, don't veer. We're running out of time.
All right, quickly. The fact that this phone is costing 20 Ghana cedis, and everybody knows that it's 20 Ghana cedis, an institution is taxed to buy the phone from Mother Ghana. That institution comes out with maybe an invoice of, say, 40 Ghana cedis or 50 Ghana cedis, and keeping it to its chest. If I get wind of the fact that the institution purchased this phone instead of 20 Ghana cedis for 40 Ghana cedis, all I need to do is to write to that institution. I want information on how you purchase it, how much you purchase this. The right to information is working. Are you getting my point? Now, if the law is passed that any individual can demand for an account from an institution or from an individual who, of course, is supposed to do something for the state, then people will actually be upright or forthright. Okay? People would actually be forthright in whatever they are doing. So it is so critical and so important for us to have this bill passed. It's long overdue. Look, I want to buy into that story. And I want to say that we as a party, and in fact as a party in government, we had promised that there's going to be a special prosecutor to deal with corruption. We had promised that this right to information bill would actually be seen to be a thing of the past in terms of its passage. Let us do it. We should walk the talk now, and let's try to push. So I am for it anyway.
Right.
I'm grateful, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
He made some inaccuracies in this.
Yeah, he accepted that indeed those comments
Do you know what I'm going to
were
talk
not
about?
fair.
The bill, as we know today, has not been laid before Parliament. Are you aware that the bill has been laid?
The last part, come on, did you say, or you were suggesting that the last time before the House rose, there were attempts at passing the bill? Is that what you said, or you said?
I emphatically heard the Speaker of Parliament then, Joe Ajehu, speak to this bill.
Oh, no.
Okay,
listen.
So
the moment
you were in that house.
Let me explain.
You were in that house.
Yeah, let me explain.
Okay, so let me give it a chance.
The moment the term of a Parliament
ends,
it ends with
everything.
Everything.
So there were attempts at the final stages of passing
these are
the bill.
technicalities you are raising.
Yes,
but it means that I'm not.
It has to go back again.
So it means I'm not factually wrong.
So what I'm saying is that it has not been laid.
I am saying that technically you are making a technical argument.
No, not a technical.
You are making a very technical
argument. Has it been laid in
Parliament? You are saying
Parliament?
that if Parliament has been dissolved, I'm saying that today, and I'm also saying that.
Has it been laid now?
I am saying that go to the Hansards of Parliament. And when you go into the Hansards of Parliament, when it was captured.
I think Honorable Tatacha has explained the issue. Once the life of that house ended, all bills that could not go through will have to come back.
Technical argument.
Okay, all right. Let's move on.
We start afresh.
So have you laid a new one?
No, it's not yet.
It's not yet.
Exactly.
So it has been laid before.
Let's move on. Let's move on and look at this story. Cocobod in 2 billion road contract debt. The Ghana Cocobod is heavily indebted to road contractors to the tune of 2 billion cedis. The Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwabena Owusu-Aduomi, has revealed. The MP was also, member for Ejiso, revealed this on the floor of Parliament when answering to some questions regarding the Hohoe-Jasekan road stretch, a 30-kilometer long, which stretches from Hohoe through Biakoye to Jasekan district in the Volta region. The story simply saying that Cocobod work on the project by the said contractor has been suspended due to delay in payment for work done since March 2017. Mr. Owusu-Aduomi, commenting on the issue, told the House that the delay in payment to the contractor is as a result of unavailability of funds, which he attributed to the current status of funding agency, the Cocobod. So Cocobod is broke, and so it cannot continue with some projects being undertaken. There's a similar story here. Of course, there's a similar story on the Punch that says, page 6, that Cocobod is broke. The story says that the indebtedness of the Cocobod left behind by the Mahama administration is now 10 billion cedis. That's the new chief executive talking. All right. So let me start with you, Honorable Tatacha. So Cocobod is broke, and so certain projects, particularly we're told cocoa roads, have to be suspended. There are concerns that some projects are being suspended by this government, but the Punch and then the ABC News is suggesting that Cocobod is stopping some of these projects because they don't have the funding to do that.
Thank you very much. For me, I'm a little bit disappointed in
Cocobod?
The way we handled cocoa roads in this country. I've been the former chair of the Roads and Transport Committee, and these are issues that we've raised over the years. We believe that, in fact, at that time, we had a strong conviction that Cocobod has no business in constructing roads in this country.
Not even to cocoa areas.
You wait. You let me finish. And we brought the issue even to, apart from the ministry, the minister then, that is Honorable Disu, that it was wrong for us to allow Cocobod to be in charge of road constructions in this country. Yes, the technical aspect of the road construction was given to Roads and Highways to supervise. But you see, if we allow institutions that are not directly, that is not their core function, to do some of those things, that is what is going to happen. Okay? So we fought against it, that it was not appropriate for Cocobod to go for resources to do their own cocoa road construction. After all, what they needed to do was to raise the needed funds, hand over to the Roads and Highways Ministry for them to embark on these projects so that that level of supervision can be done. Look, we were even finding it very difficult as a committee to even have access to how some of these projects are funded. We had it very difficult because you go to the minister tells you it is not within his jurisdiction. Because the money is not being raised by the Roads and Highways, by the Ministry of Roads and Highways. It's not being raised by them. These are resources that are being raised by Cocobod. So therefore, if you even want to have oversight over it, there's bottlenecks. Because the committee is Roads and Transport Committee. So we had a huge challenge. And for me, I was not happy with the way Cocobod assigned itself with the construction of road networks.
Is that why Cocobod is broke? Is that your point?
Well, it can be a factor. It can be a factor. Because this is not an area that is one of their core functions. Yes, roads leads to cocoa growing areas. They have to ensure that those road networks are in proper shape so that cocoa can be cut from the hinterland for farmers to have access. But then, what I believe that the current administration needs to do, and if Honorable Adiomi and Honorable the lawyer are listening, they should not allow Cocobod to construct road networks in this country. They shouldn't allow it. And I know Honorable Adiomi is also in favor of what I'm talking about today. We should allow institutions assigned for specific duties to carry on their duties so that proper oversight can be done. Proper oversight can be done.
You don't think that perhaps if Cocobod planned under your administration to spend, let's say, 350 million cedis on cocoa roads and end up spending over 700, that could have resulted in this bankruptcy instead of just the fact that they are constructing roads?
Well, it's simply because who does the oversight? Who is doing the oversight? That is the question.
I see. Come on. He's suggesting that Cocobod is perhaps treading into areas that are not their domain, and that's why
I will not just hinge my submission on that alone. I mean, if I'm going to put in summation what my brother Tetechai has put out there, I will say that his concern has to do with prudence, and his concern had to do also with, checks on how finances from the Cocobod, from Cocobod are being used. I mean, there were difficulties in getting the oversight responsibility of Parliament extended to them, as it were. And there were difficulties in getting the institution that is supposed to, as it were, handle road networks in this country, also having a hand in what Cocobod did. Now, that's basically in summation what my brother sought to do. But I wouldn't just hinge it on it. You see, I started earlier on by making a point on corruption. This is a clear-cut corrupt practice I'm talking about. If we have a board, Cocobod, claiming autonomy, and that we can go out there to source syndicated loans, okay? Get some finances. We heard of those ones they got from France and the opening. Question is, what were those money used for? The stabilization fund that is supposed to be meant to augment or to push Cocobod in times of difficulties, what have they used the money for?
What have you found out whether the money is in there or not?
There's a problem.
There's a problem with that fund.
Absolutely.
It's empty.
Virtually empty. virtually empty. And these were people who were living in flamboyance and joy. When we talk about corruption, they say we shouldn't talk about it.
But there's nothing corrupt.
Oh, no, why?
This.
Why? If we don't know, if
please,
today,
wait
a minute. If contractors are crying that we have not been paid, and we are told that Cocobod is broke, and we are told that at the end of the day, of some 10 billion Ghana cedi, that's huge money.
Is it missing?
Wait a minute, 10 billion Ghana cedi, of course, Cocobod owes. And at the same time, we are told monies that are supposed to be in the coffers of Cocobod are not there. What would you impute? Corruption.
It's corruption. No, please.
My brother,
come on.
Monies went into wrong pockets.
Come on, there are persons.
No.
Come on, there are persons who superintended over these monies. Do you know where they are?
Look, there are a lot of checks, and I'm happy that the CEO has been speaking to the media, and the Cocobod chair, my father Hakman Usajmai, has also come out to say one or two things. The rot.
Did he say?
In fact, wait a minute. The kind of rot.
No,
I was very quiet when you were making a submission.
No,
you didn't let me land.
You
see, the rot at Cocobod is why
the debt
we are where we are today. The rot created by Opuni and Co.
How do we deal with this?
Why? Iyoko is handling it. Opuni has been invited. You are aware of that.
Right.
Iyoko is handling it. And I'm telling you, whoever has taken a dime belonging to Mother Ghana, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we beg you, don't shield anybody. You have already promised us that you will not shield even your wife. Therefore, let us not shield anyone. It's about time we crack the whip and make Ghanaians understand that, look, we can develop ourselves. Right. Do you know the monies that we generate internally? If only prudently managed and put well and reduce corruption even to the barest minimum, if not even taking it out completely, let's reduce it a bit. Ghana will be where we will all not expect it to be. But because of this crass corruption, because of this stealing, naked thievery that people embark on, to the extent that their own party people were worried about the way he's handling Cocobod. I'm telling you, NDC were not happy with opening.
Those are all allegations.
Oh, yeah, I'm also speaking to the allegations. And let me also speak to them.
And some have said
I am speaking to the allegations.
The fight against corruption perhaps isn't succeeding because these allegations are made and we don't see...
Baseless.
They are not baseless. I am telling you that they are not baseless. Why? Is it for anything that NDC people will come out and say, look, Opuni should be handled? It's not for nothing. My own brother, Kennedy Ejapon, has a lot of info. Honorable Kennedy Ejapon, excellent info.
How many years does he need to get that info to the security agencies? How many years does he need to send that information to security agencies?
Iyoko has gone into the matter.
So you are condoning corruption,
Iyoko has gone into the matter. It's a state institution mandated by law. Act 466 mandates them to do what they are doing, and their sections are clear. Trust me, the work that Iyoko is supposed to do to unravel or to unearth some of this rot created at Cocobod and making us suffer today as a people. Iyoko, we beg you, don't show anybody. Bring it out.
All right.
But you see,
okay. Bring them out.
I don't want to say
wrap up money and then spend the money anyhow. And we are where we are.
Committed a crime. Put the person before court.
They are working
but
on it.
Don't come on and be ranting. It doesn't solve anything.
The court
you just come and then make everybody
it's a
corrupt.
Process, so you don't just get up and take people to court.
Then shut up.
Shut up here means what?
Wait, and then let's see.
Why the matter is brought before us to talk about it.
But you don't have to come here and be mentioning people's name and then be assigning corrupt practices.
I'm surprised my brother is jumping into some defense. You see, this country, you yourself made the comment that there were problems in having oversight.
No, please.
You made the point.
You listen to me. You should have even spoken to even what I'm talking about. I'm looking at institutional
it's the same thing.
Challenges that needs to be solved.
But because they were lacking,
but you are not addressing that.
It's in problem.
No, you are not addressing
because
that.
That was lacking. Cocobod is in problem. That's the point.
No, but you don't mention
we don't have
people
oversight
and then just malign them.
Why?
People are listening.
I'm not the only one mentioning it. Why? Opuni has been mentioned everywhere. It's everywhere in the news.
Okay, but yes, until it is proven.
You should stop that type of politics. It's not good for this country.
Why is he not invited?
It is not good.
And it's not under him that
has been declared.
I'm not saying he has been declared someone who caused a problem. But I'm saying that he was.
That's just what you've done.
No.
You've just done that.
I'm saying he's under investigation, and if he's under investigation, in fact, he was the head, And a lot of matters will have to go into it.
Please,
and if he's found culpable, let him be dealt with. That's what I said.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm grateful.
That is why genuine people who want to help this country are shying away.
What is about genuineness?
Because once
when there's a rot, you go and take money, and the money, we are not seeing where it is. Come and answer question.
I'm grateful for your time this morning.
No, it's not about politics.
Kamadin Abdullah is the NPP's National Nasra Coordinator and a member of the NPP seeking for the youth organizer position. Honorable Theophilus Etechai is a member of the NDC, former member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central Constituency. Gentlemen, grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you so much, Brian. I think when dry bulls are mentioned, all ladies get worried.
You are so interesting this morning.
All right. And for